Today I'm going to give you a walkthrough on this book. It's Simply Charlotte Mason, Learning About Birds. It's a living science handbook written by Sonia Schaefer, and this is what you need for this curriculum. This is for elementary ages. It's just a science curriculum, and it covers pretty much the entire school year. So for this, you will need a coloring book about birds and these two books, the Burgess Bird Book for Children and Blackie the Crow, both written by Thornton Burgess. And I'll have links below. Okay, so this curriculum was copyrighted 2015, and this is just the table of contents. It gives you an introduction, the materials needed, your suggested schedule for a year of study, and it has 60 lessons. Then there's exam questions, birds we have seen, ideas for attracting birds to your yard, bird habitats in the world. Okay, so here's the introduction. The materials needed. Okay, so I showed you the two reading books, the two living books I have, the coloring book, then you'll need just regular, crayons and stuff. Optional is the Handbook of Nature Study, and then a bird field guide. Let me grab those. Okay, so this is the Handbook of Nature Study. It's a pretty thick book. If you're interested in this, I do have a walkthrough of this book already, so you can just search for it. But this book, it's all black and white. It has real photos and a few drawings of all kinds of living animals, insects, mammals, birds, fish. There's even trees in here. I don't know, you could do a science for any age, really, like forever on this book, just learning about nature and stuff and animals and plants. This book is great. Anyway, okay, and then we used this as a field guide. This is by Golden Books, a guide to field identification birds of North America. So this one was actually my grandma's, so we already had it, and that's the one that we used. Okay. Now here is your suggested schedule for a year of study. So they suggest that you spend 1 week and you only do 2 lessons, okay? And then week 5 is catch up, and then lesson 9. So they throw a few of those catch up ones in there. And then there's every 12 weeks, it looks like there's a little test or exam questions. Okay, so by doing it that way, it gives you 36 weeks, a typical school year for this science. We went through it a lot faster. It doesn't matter. Anyhow, so lesson 1 here. So each lesson will tell you the materials that you need. So it's very convenient. I myself like how this is laid out. It's black and white. It's easy to see. It's not overwhelming. The lessons are very short. It tells you what you need. It tells you what to do, and it tells you what to read. And then over here on the right side of the margin, if there's any notes, relevant to the topic, that particular lesson, then they will be here. So there's teaching tips, some ideas, see more teaching tips. Okay. So this is just about learning about birds. That's all it is. So the entire school year, they would just be learning about birds. They'd be bird watching, some nature study ideas. It's all about birds. Okay, so what they do is the first book that they'll read will be this one, the Burgess Bird Book for Children, and they would read a chapter each lesson. I think it says just to read 1 chapter, maybe 1 or 2 chapters for each lesson, but I think it's just 1. Anyway, they would read this. Now when I bought this book, it's kind of... Okay, so when I bought this book, it's kind of hard to find exactly what I wanted. Years and years and years ago, I downloaded the free Burgess Bird Book for Children onto my tablet, and I read that to my kids. Now, in that free download, there were colored, like every few pages or every couple lessons, there were colored pictures of birds in the download. But when I went to actually buy the book, I could not find one with the colored bird pictures in the book. So that's a little difficult to find. But I did find a download of those pictures just separately. So, just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, so whenever they get finished reading this book, then it will switch over to having them read Blackie the Crow. And Blackie the Crow is a character in the Burgess Bird Book for Children. And whether or not you do this curriculum, I suggest, this is just a really good book. I just think all kids would really like this. It's just a really good book. And I have a playlist that goes in order for all the chapters, all the birds mentioned in this book, and it has like 100 and something videos in my playlist. So if you're interested in that, Anyway, Blackie the Crow, just, it's a good book too, and it goes in this curriculum as well. Okay, so it will tell you, when to read it, if you'll need the bird field guide, a sketchbook, just a drawing book. And then it will also tell you when you need to do a coloring page or a sketchbook. So we also had a sketchbook as well. Here are some of the drawings that she did for her bird study. So you can see that she drew the house wren, and I had her label the lesson. And then I also had her look up each bird and just write, a little tidbit of information on the page. So, here's one for the sparrow. And here's one that she did for the chipping sparrow. Anyway, but you get the idea. And there's a robin. So we would kind of alternate. Some days, if it said to color the page in here, she would color it. The next lesson, if it said to color it, I'd give her the option to draw one and then color it, or color what was in here. So that's why she didn't color every single bird in here. But anyway, so this is kind of what it looks like. And this is by Dover, and Dover usually has really great detailed drawings. I really love their coloring books. But this one, I'm guessing Lisa Bonforte drew it. To me, it's no better than any other coloring book. It's just not real detailed, and it's not real clear either. So I was surprised that the quality wasn't up to what I expect out of Dover. But anyhow, in the back, the page opens up and they have what the birds are colored like and what they should look like. Okay, and then also here in the notes, it will, tell you teaching tips, what to do. Like if you're going to use the Handbook of Nature Study, it'll give you a reminder, like in this case, reminder to get Blackie the Crow because you'll need it for lesson 18. More teaching tips. That's what it looks like. Now, towards the back, okay, now here's the exam questions. Okay, so every 12 weeks, there's just a few little, questions here. So this curriculum is designed, for 1st through 6th grade. Okay, so there you go. Now, here is where you can record the birds that you have seen. We just recorded it in a separate notebook. Some ideas for attracting birds to your yard. And we also did this, but we made our own. Actually, I think this is where it tells you to make your own. Anyway, we made our own little bird habitat. Okay, so like whenever you read this book and you're reading about the different birds, it'll kind of tell you where they're located. So some of those birds, it'll say like Jenny Wren lives in, I forget now, but anyway, I think I don't remember where she was at, but anyhow, like if she was in the old orchard, then you would write Jenny Wren here, and you would write, Bob White or the quail here. You would do that, but we just made our own notebook and wrote them in there. Okay, and that is it. So, just thought I would share that with you, and in case you were interested. Thanks for watching.